Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, you see me again in my video in my YouTube channel. And now I want to tell you about my research and my method to make my students or people around me love or like English more. Before we move, I want to introduce myself first. My name is Shofia Pratiwi. I am a college student in University of Lampung. My major is English department and my NPM is 21130420009. Right now, I want to tell you about my conclusion for my research. Based on the result of my research, I can conclude from my research that non-English junior high school students that I interviewed showed a positive attitudes. The percentage is 79.33%. In the cognitive components, correspondents agree that English is a useful language because to communicate with foreign people, we must be able to speak English so we can communicate with each other. In addition, English is a language that is highly valued in Indonesian society because when someone is fluent in using English, so the person is a person who has a high level of education. In the affective components, some correspondents agree that English is an important language because at school they are emotionally attached to learning activities and the value of English influences their French score. In addition, several of the correspondents agree that English was easy to use and interesting to learn. This can be seen from the use of English which has been used as slang by some teenagers and the use of advertisement which has started to use in English. And in the behavior component, some correspondents agree because some of them are serious and want to learn and are fluent in English. When they get good grades, they will be active in the class. In this class English, in this English class, I'm so sorry, the teacher can provide material in the form of short video or record from authentic or foreign people so that they are familiar with English pronunciation. From the findings of my research, non-English junior high school students must improve their English skills in addition to regional language and Indonesian because English is an international language. Besides that, to be able to communicate with foreign people, they have to develop English language skill. Alright, now I want to tell you about my method to make my students or people around me love or like English more. From the research above so that the students like or love English more, there are activities that they can do in the learning activities that will be given by teacher. Several methods they can be used are: first, storytelling method is one of providing learning experiences for students by telling stories to students orally or in the form of videos. The stories that is told must be interesting and invite attention and cannot be separated from education goals. If the content of the story are related to the word of life, then they can understand the contents of the of the story are given. They will listen attentively and can easily grasp the contents of the story. The techniques for telling story to students, namely, first, the teacher reads it directly from the storybooks or can provide a video story and asks it directly the students. And the second, the teacher can tell a story using illustrated picture from books. If using video illustration, it will appear to the project screen. And the third, the teacher can tell fairy tales, fable, or folklore. And the fourth, the teacher can tell a story using a flannel board, character paper, using dolls, or directly from a storybook that is shown to students. But if a video, the teacher directly plays the video in front of the student. And the objectives of the storytelling method include: the first, develop comprehension skill and enrich vocabulary; the second, give a fun, happy, and careful effect, especially if the story presents is a funny story; and the third, stimulating imagination and creativity, strengthening memory, and opening the horizons of students' thinking to become more critical and intelligent. And the second method is the question and the answer. The question and the answer method is a learning strategy that can provide a learning experience for students. The question and answer method can provide questions to get an oral response from students. This question and answer techniques can be done by: first, after the teacher explains the previous material, the teacher can immediately ask questions to students. And the second, the teacher will invite anyone to answer the question that have been given to students. So student can volunteer to answer question from the teacher without questions. And the third, from this activity, the teacher can measure the ability of his students about how well they understand today's material. And the last, after the teacher finishes asking questions, the teacher will give rewards to students who successfully answer questions, so that they are more motivated in learning activities. And the use of the question and answer method can be assessed as a fairly reasonable and appropriately method if it is used for: first, stimulating, so that students' attention is directed to a subject matter being discussed; and the second, directing to the process of taking and observing students; and the last, students or review or see the understanding of the material that have been taught as material for consideration to continue the next material. I think that's all for me for my research, my conclusion research, and my method to make my students and my my people around me love or like English more. I think that's all for me.